So this is a really cool thing. You have in the Southwest, you have an evolution of culture. You have, like say the Fourth Corners area, we started with the archaic people and then spread out from there. This would be called the desert culture, the Cochise, starting as pure hunter-gatherers and then acquiring technology like pottery and eventually the Pueblo culture. So out here in the Mojave Desert remained very primitive. They were not influenced by the Pueblo culture like they were further to the east. So we have the same Uto-Aztecan roots, but some of them over here in the Mojave, I've always been stricken by how primitive they remained. Basically cave dwelling. There wasn't architecture like there was over in the east. Something that I think is interesting when looking at rock art and trying to understand it is that there was the archaic people, and then there was this whole wave of other influence that created the Pueblo culture. So we have one level of cosmology we're dealing with, and then suddenly, wham, at about the year 700 or so, you get this whole other influence, and you can see it on the rocks out in Arizona, New Mexico, that area. So I think probably a wave of people came up from the south and they brought agriculture and they brought architecture and they brought this new art form and probably new cosmologies and new symbolism. Out here in the Mojave Desert, you have this really primitive and pretty static, it seems, symbolism you see in the rocks. And I had an anthropologist point something out to me that I think just really nails it home and I think it's an interesting way to look at this. You have some of the more ancient people you have are called basket maker. That's because, they made baskets, they didn't yet have pottery. Even though they kind of did have pottery, they're called basket maker. So basket maker, it's hunter-gatherer, nomadic, not much technology, and then those people lived like this in the Mojave Desert and slammed into the modern day as basket maker. So you get out in the Four Corners in the Southwest, you have an evolution. You have an evolution from basket maker into agriculture, into Pueblo, into what I consider fairly modern people being in the 1300s. They're making buildings, they're living in societies and cities and big civilizations. But out here in the Mojave, they stayed basket maker. And then in come Westerners from Europe and right up against basket maker. It's like the worlds colliding. It's like the ancient meets the modern instantaneously. I think that's so cool. It's so interesting to think about the way the people were living here was so ancient when the moderns found them. They were wearing rabbit fur blankets. They were wearing, reed woven shoes, living in caves. Basket maker. They were early people living in the ancient ways, and then modernity smacked them in the face, and this is why it was so easy to perform genocide upon them. But not entirely, because the people are still here and they're going strong, and this is why we come out and we look at these caves so that we can remember the ways and we can learn about it and we can help the people who are still alive have a voice.